Duke Ling of Wei asked Confucius about battle array. Confucius replied, I know only something about ritual, but nothing about military affairs. He left Wei the next day. Confucius was not supplied with food in the state of Qin. His followers became too weak to rise to their feet. Dissatisfied, Zilu came and said, How can an intelligent gentleman fall in want? The master said, An intelligent gentleman will do nothing wrong even if he is in want, while an uncultured man in want will break loose from all restraints. The master said to Zigong, Do you think I am a man who knows many things and keeps them in memory? Zigong said, Yes, is it not so? The master said, No, I know only one in many and many in one. The master said to Zilu, Few know what virtue is. Emperor Shun ruled by non-interference, said the master. Was it not so? What did he do but occupy the imperial throne reverently? When Zizhang asked about good behavior, the master said, Sincere in what you say and trustworthy in what you do, you would behave well even among uncivilized tribes. Insincere in word and untrustworthy in deed, could you behave well in your native village? Standing, you should see these words before your eyes. Sitting in the carriage, you should see them inscribed on the yoke. Then you can behave well. Zizhang wrote these words on his sash. How straightforward was the historian Yu, said the master, who served as a straight arrow the state in good order or in disorder. What an intelligent gentleman was Chu Bo Yu, who served as an official when the state was in good order, and who concealed himself and hid away when the state was in disorder. Not to talk to a worthy man, said the master, is to lose the man, and to talk to an unworthy man is to waste words. The wise will neither lose a man nor waste words. A wise good man, said the master, will do no wrong to preserve his own life but sacrifice his life to do what is right. Zigong asked how to render good service. The master said, A craftsman who wishes to do his work well must first sharpen his tools. You who serve in a state must act in agreement with its good officers and befriend its good intellectuals. Yen Yuan asked how to serve in a state. The master said, Use the calendar of Xia, ride the carriage of Yin, wear the ceremonial dress of Zhou, play the music of Emperor Shun and dance to the tune of the martial king. Reject the songs of Jing which are licentious and keep away from flatterers who are dangerous. If you have no long sight, said the master, trouble will be near at hand. In vain, said the master, have I looked for one who loves his duty more than beauty? Was not Zhang Wenzhong, said the master, a stealer of ranks? He knew Lu Xiaohui gifted but did not give the rank due to him. Severe with oneself and lenient with others, said the master, one will be far from their complaint. I do not know what to do, said the master, with a man who never says what to do. What to do? It is difficult, said the master, to deal with those who gather together all day long without saying what is right but try to show their tact in trifling matters. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, thinks it his duty to do what is right, carries it out according to the rules of propriety, speaks with modesty and accomplishes it faithfully. Such is an intelligent gentleman. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, regrets that he is incapable, and not that he is unknown. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, dislikes the age of decadence when names belie facts. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, relies on himself while an uncultured man relies on others. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, is dignified, but not quarrelsome. He is sociable, but not partisan. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, will not recommend anyone simply because of his good words, nor reject the good words of anyone. Zigong asked whether there was a word practicable all the life long. The master said, perhaps forbearance is the word. Do not do to others what you would not have others do to you. Of those people I have dealt with, said the master, whom have I praised or blamed? If I have praised someone, I must have tested him. Such is the straightforward way how people were dealt with during the 3 ancient dynasties. In my early days, said the master, I had seen a historian leave a blank in his text, and a horseman leave his horse for another to ride. But now there is none like them. Sweet words, said the master, may sour the deeds. Impatience in minor matter may cause failure in main matter. If a man is disliked by all, said the master, inquiry must be made. If a man is liked by all, inquiry must also be made. It is man, said the master, that can amplify laws, but laws cannot amplify man. Not to mend a fault, said the master, is to make a fault. Once, said the master, I spent a whole day and a whole night in thinking, without eating and sleeping. I got no result and found it better to learn. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, seeks after truth instead of food. Plowing, he will not worry about hunger. Learning, he may win rank. An intelligent gentleman is more eager for truth than worried about poverty. Wise enough to attain, said the master, but not good enough to maintain, he will lose what is gained. Wise enough to attain and good enough to maintain, he will not be respected by people if he rules without dignity. Wise enough to attain and good enough to maintain, and ruling with dignity, he is still not a perfect ruler if he does not act in accordance with the ritual system. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, may not know minor matters, but he can be entrusted with major duties. An uncultured man cannot be entrusted with major duties, but he may know minor matters. The people need virtue, said the master, more than water and fire. I have seen people drowned in water or burned to death in fire, but none die in virtue. A good man, said the master, should not withdraw from being a better man than his teacher. An intelligent gentleman, said the master, is consistent, but not obstinate. In serving the prince, said the master, a man should do his duty before he gets his reward. In education, said the master, there should be no distinction of classes. You cannot take counsel, said the master, with those who follow a different way. Words are good, said the master, if only they can express the idea. The blind music master Mian called on Confucius. When he came to the steps, the master said, "Here are the steps." When he came to the mat for the guests to sit on, the master said, "Here is the mat." When all the guests were seated, the master told him, "So and so is here, so and so is there." When the music master was out, Zizhang asked whether it was the way to deal with a music master. The master said, "Yes, this is the way to lead a blind man." The head of the Ji family was going to attack Xuanyu. Ran Yu and Zilu came to see Confucius and said, "Our chief is going to attack Xuanyu." Confucius said, "Ran Yu, is it not your fault?" Long ago Xuanyu was appointed by former kings to preside over the sacrifice to the Eastern Ming. Moreover, it lies within the boundaries of our state, and it is a vassal state to safeguard our land. How can such an attack be justified? Ran Yu said, "It is our chief who wishes the attack. Neither of us wishes it, but we are only his officials." Confucius said to Ran Yu. The historian Zhou Ren said, "Take the office if you can display your ability, or decline it if you cannot. What is the use of a minister if he cannot support a state in stake or prop up a tottering state? Moreover, what you say is wrong. If a tiger or wild bull should escape from its cag, or a tortoise shell or gem be broken in its box, whose fault is it if not the keeper's?" Ran Yu said, "At present Xuanyu is a vassal state strongly fortified near the chief fief of Fei. If our chief does not take it now, it would become a pest to his posterity." Confucius said, "Ran Yu, a cultured man dislikes those who try to find a pretext for taking what they want. I have heard that the chief of a state or of a family need not care for scarcity but for inequality, nor for poverty but for security. There would be no poverty if wealth is equally shared, no scarcity if people live in harmony, no danger if people live in security. If people do not pay homage from afar, then culture must be enhanced to attract them. When won over, they must be comfortably installed. Now, Ran Yu and Zilu, advisors as you are to your chief, you cannot help him to subdue nor attract people from afar, nor restore the state to order out of chaos, but plan hostile activities within the state. I am afraid the trouble with the Ji family may not arise from Xuanyu but from the sovereign behind the scene." Confucius said, "When the world goes the right way, the orders on ritual and music and military expeditions are issued by the sovereign of the state. When it goes the wrong way, they are issued by feudal princes, but few princes could maintain their rule for 10 generations. If such orders are issued by ministers, few ministers could maintain their rule for 5 generations. If they are issued by officials, few officials could maintain theirs for 3 generations. When the world goes the right way, the state will not be governed by officials. When the world goes the right way, the people will not dispute with the government." Confucius said, "The ducal house of Lu has lost power for 5 generations, and government has been in the hands of the ministers for 4 generations. No wonder the descendants of the 3 Lu families are fast losing their power. 3 kinds of friend will do you good," said Confucius, "and other 3 will do you harm. To make friends with the upright, the faithful and the well-informed will do you good. To make friends with the prejudicial, the insidious and the hypocritical will do you harm." 3 delightful things, said Confucius, will do you good: delight in ritual and music, in speaking well of others and in making good friends. 3 pleasures will do you harm: extravagant pleasure, lascivious pleasure, and sumptuous pleasure. In the presence of a cultured man, said Confucius, 3 mistakes should be avoided. To speak before called on to speak is rash. Not to speak when called on to is unfrank. To speak without observing the expression of his face is blind. A cultured man, said Confucius, should beware of 3 things. He should beware of lust in youth when his vigor is uncouth, of strife in his prime when he is full of vigor, and of greed in old age when his vigor is on the decline. 3 things, said Confucius, inspire a cultured man with awe: heaven's will, great men, and words of the sage. An uncultured man does not know heaven's will, so he does not stand in awe. He respects no great men, and makes light of the sage's words. Highest are those born wise, said Confucius. Next come those who become wise by learning, still next those who strive to learn, And last come those people who will not strive at all. An intelligent man, said Confucius, should be considerate in 9 respects. He should see clearly, hear distinctly, look mild, appear respectful, speak sincerely, act carefully, ask questions when in doubt, think of the consequences when in anger, and bear in mind what is right in sight of gain. I have heard, said Confucius, of those who would lose no time to do what is good when they see it, and to shrink from what is harmful as from boiling water, and I have seen such men. I have heard of those who would retire so as not to go on the wrong way, and then come out so as to go on the right way, but I have not seen such men. Duke Jing of the state of Qi had 1,000 chariots with 4 steeds, but nobody praised him on the day of his death, for he had done no good for the people. Bo Yi and Shu Qi, 2 loyal brothers, starved at the foot of the Sunny Mountain, but people praise them down to the present day. Is this not an illustration of what is said above? Qin Kang asked Bo Yu, son of Confucius, whether he had heard from his father anything different from what the others had. Bo Yu said no. One day my father was standing alone in the hall when I passed by respectfully. He asked me whether I had studied poetry. When I replied, not yet, he said, you cannot speak well if you have not. Then I retired and studied poetry. Another day he was again standing in the hall when I passed by respectfully. He asked me whether I had studied the rituals. When I replied, not yet, he said, you cannot be established in society if you have not. Then I retired and studied rituals. These 2 things are what I have heard from him. Delighted, Qin Kang came away and said, asking 1 thing, I have learned 3. I have heard about poetry, rituals, and impartiality of an intelligent man towards his son. The prince of a state calls his wife madam. She calls herself your humble servant. The people of the state call her Madam Princess. When speaking of her to guests of another state, the prince calls her my humble princess. The guests also call her Madam Princess,